Okay, so long story short, let's just say the game actually, the other game I was trying to upload, took too long to update, and at the same time, I actually clicked, how do you say? I actually clicked stop recording here, so it just stopped recording, and I'm too lazy to go back to revisit 13 fudging glorious minutes of talking. So let's continue on with the fudge I'll say. Okay, let's that's like my personal opinion. Right. That's a professional opinion. Okay, so with that being said, yeah, sweet. Anyways, with that being said, I can't really blame people for hating it. I can't really blame me for loving it. I can't really blame other people for pointing out mistakes or why it's terrible, and I respect them. I respect the people who believe that the game is bad because I understand where you come from and I understand the disappointment of the game. But at some point, you're just gonna have to. Sorry, give me a second. This is so unprofessional. At some point, you're gonna have to tell yourself, no, I just can't keep saying the game's bad. I can't keep saying that because the game wasn't made for me. And it's a horrible thing that it wasn't. It's a horrible thing that the game wasn't made for the actual audience that was intended for. Sorry. It wasn't made for the actual loyal audience that it was supposed to be for. They should have made it for the fans, and they shouldn't have made it for just the casual audiences. But at the same time, can you really blame them? I don't know how big Fallout was before Fallout 4 came, but if there are multiple people out like me, I'm sure there are, that was introduced to the games in general because of the sheer fact that Fallout 4 released and gave everyone at least a chance to go into a game that didn't feel cluttered or didn't feel too overwhelming right away. No, it was a simple game that anyone could pick up and play and have fun with it. At least have some fun with it. No matter how boring it was, no matter how badly made it was, at least they could have some fun. At least they could definitely could. So, I'll tell you exactly how the game was and how it starts from beginning to end as far as I can recall. I can't show you any gameplay because I'm not professional at this. I'm not. But what I'm gonna say about the story and what I can at least describe from the gameplay, and I can't say anything about everything about the story. So please don't be mad if I miss anything about the story because I'm not perfect. I wish I wrote down something like a non-idiot would. Like a non-idiot would. But I didn't. I didn't. I just was like, screw it, let's try to make this right away. Okay, so the story begins. You are a main character, either a girl or a guy. So the man, to make it easier, we'll call the man Jake, and the woman Sarah. Yeah, that works. The man named Jake came back from a war that was long going, and after the war was over, he returned home to his wife Sarah, who just graduated from her bachelor's of a lawyer. As he was finally relaxing with their kid Sean and the robot Cosworth, all of a sudden he hears a knock on the door. The knock on the door was a guy from the Fallout company, from the Vault-Tec company. A Vault-Tec representative, you could say. He basically tells the character, the avatar, depending which gender you picked, you either pick the wife Sarah or you pick the guy Jake. Granted, you can change their names and their skills, so yeah. Okay, so as you fill out all your progress and everything about your character sheet in, well, a not so creative fashion, you are slowly but surely assured that your family will have a place in the vault shelter in case a fallout were to ever happen or a nuclear blast. Then, all of a sudden, as you are sitting about your day, all of a sudden the news goes on, and well, what do you know? There actually is a fallout happening soon, or better yet, um, there's actually nuclear bombs heading towards your place. I can't exactly recall, but I think it was Ohio or Missouri. So you and your family, leaving Cosworth behind, heads over to the vault shelters in order to find shelter, in order to make sure that your family was safe. And then all of a sudden, when you barely arrive on the on the platform of the vault shelter, all of a sudden you hear boom. You see a witnessing blast, a giant bright blast that if you actually look directly at it in real life would actually probably blind you, but due to the fact that your video game logic, you actually can't be blinded by it for some weird reason. And then barely before the blast catches you, the platform's going down and you made it safe. You're fine now. But you almost were taken by that blast. And in actuality, you would actually have a lot of radiation poisoning to the fact that radiation actually travels a lot more bigger than the actual explosion, but I guess you have to worry about that later. Although, during the time when they actually start testing for radiation, apparently you had no radiation on you, which makes absolutely zero sense, but still. Um, anyways. Wow. Wait, no, tangent there. Tangent. As as I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. As you and your family are getting settled into the new vault, all of a sudden you are taken to a place called the Krynosis Station, where you will be frozen. Let's call the main character the lone survivor. That way we can better understand what's going on here. The lone survivor and their husband or wife are about to be frozen. And as they are about to be frozen, all of a sudden they put on these suits, vault suits, more accurately, which are basically meant to protect against radiation and make sure that you don't wear any radiated clothes, which actually makes very well sense. Anyways, you head into your own cryosis station while your family heads into another one, your wife or husband, depending on which one, and your baby, Sean. As the lone survivor and their families frozen into ice, all of a sudden, randomly, one day, you wake up in a new place entirely. Or, not a new place. It's the same world, but just in a different time. We don't know how long has passed. The lone survivor doesn't know how long has passed. All you know is when you wake up, all of a sudden you see a man with a tattoo scar and a weird suit on him carrying a revolver. And then he opens your wife and or husband and baby's station. And then as she starts asking questions and she starts struggling to keep her baby safe as the man is trying to take the baby away from her, all of a sudden he shoots her. He shoots the lone survivor's wife or husband. In this case, let's make the lone survivor a male to make it a lot more easier for me to narrate it. I could make it female and it would have the same, level of, good safety, but still. Anyways, once again, you are frozen inside a block of ice again. And to be fair, this is as far as I'm going to go with the story. Not because it'll take too long. Actually, that's exactly what it'll take too long. If the story sounds interesting to you, I suggest go checking it out. But if I made it sound a lot more interesting, then actually, yes, then I apologize. But with that being said, This was the ordinary gamer slash Primal Shanks. It's not so professional opinion, because I'm just an ordinary guy. Not, I'm not a professional critic. Thank you.